Okay. All right. Nice to see everyone. I guess we can start here with some brief introductions. So I guess I'll start here. So nice to see you guys. I've met with a lot of you, if not most of you at this point. So my name is Camila Alway. I am the advisor for the Washington Semester Program. I know all of you saw my email, I'm sure, that went out yesterday. I think it was yesterday now at this point, that my last day with Washington Semester will be August 9th. So that is tomorrow, but I am still here to help with your registration questions, and we're all here to help answer. And so, please, still feel free to contact me or watch them at american.edu if you guys have questions after this. But yeah, we will, I'm always here to help no matter what. And so it's been so great meeting all of you, and I look forward to all of your questions here today. So I'll hand it over to the next person here. So anyone else from the team want to jump in? Maybe Amy?
Sure. Thanks so much, Camila. So you guys, I do have a little box of Kleenex here because we are really missing Camila after tomorrow, but she has told us she's going to stay in good touch with us. She's been a terrific addition to our team in the last year, but know that we have a tight team and we have staffing in place to support you during Camila's transition. And again, she'll still be a little in the background as she supports the program part-time. My name is Amy. I'm the Washington Semester Program Director. I've been serving in an interim capacity for the last 8 months or so. And previous to that, I was the internship director. And in my current role, I provide oversight and guidance to the Washington Semester Program. I am so pleased to work with a very talented team of colleagues as we provide the semester of a lifetime for you in your semester in DC. So in a nutshell, this is a pretty informal session of Q&As. We want to answer any question that you might have as you prepare for arrival in the next couple weeks here. Know that even again in transitions that the WashSem email, as well as the emails I'm going to put in the chat. My email is I'm kind of a general go-to resource on things. So feel free to be reaching out to us with questions. Not present here is Karen Carter, who I think has been pretty involved with you guys in the internship searches, and I can play a little bit of a background role. We will have some new staffing coming on board, so keep on checking in your email. Another just intro plug for you guys. We hope that you'll tune into what we're talking about today. And also remember to check into your Canvas classes for pre-arrival information. There's an internship site, Intern and Learn in Canvas. And there's also a site about pre-arrival and life at AU, such as requirements related to things like getting around DC, safety in the city, how to do your immunization form, and waive health insurance if you already have health insurance. So please do ensure that you're logging in to those Canvas classes. If you have particular questions about it, we might be transitioning for a very brief demo in case you need some guidance to get there. But overall, today we're here to answer questions. I'm going to pass the baton over to my really capable colleagues here for their introductions as well. I'm going to pass it now over to Shadi Afshar, who is the head of marketing, the head of operations, and a jack of all trades in transitions. And I'm going to let her introduce herself now.
Hi, it's really nice to meet each and every one of you. And I've been working closely with Camila to take over each of your cases in terms of registration and billing. And I look forward to working with you. And I hope that in the coming weeks, we get to meet you at orientation. I'm really looking forward to welcoming you at orientation as well. If you have any questions, you can reach out again to watchsummitamerican.edu. And that the reason why that email, unless it's something super urgent, and you can feel free, I can put my my own email address as well. But the nice thing about the Wash Some inbox is we all have access to it. So whoever's working at that moment can reply to you versus if it's coming into my own inbox or if someone is like stepped away or so for fastest response, Wash Some is really the best place to go. So I look forward to your questions and I'm here to help.
Now pass it over to Amanda, I think. Amanda, if you'll do your intro.
Sure. So I'm Amanda. I'm the program coordinator for Washington semester program. So I've been talking to a lot of you guys on the phone and definitely in the WashSem inbox. So it's nice to finally meet some of you face to face, and I look forward to meeting you at orientation later this month.
Excellent. Thanks so much, guys, for all of your introductions. Now I'm going to just pause for a minute here to give it back to the floor back to Camila to see if she wants to kick us off with a couple topics. Also, again, we indeed have a lot of time set aside for Q&A, but again, we'll pass the baton back over to Camila for now.
Thank you, Amy. Yeah. So as Amy said, some of the topics we're going to be covering today. So we're going to be taking you guys' questions. This is, again, a very informal Q&A session that we're doing here today. And so, bring your questions regarding registration. I know a lot of you guys have had some registration questions coming up over the past couple of weeks. So that's one thing we're going to be talking about here today is registration. Billing is another one that I've seen some of you guys have some questions about as of very recently, which is again something else we're going to talk about here. So bring your billing questions. And then any sort of miscellaneous, if you guys have questions about the health insurance or, there's still some questions about housing, or, if you have just a general internship question, come forward with those, here today. We're going to be doing it where you guys can put your questions in the chat if you would like, or you can, there's the raise hand feature here on Zoom, so that you can just raise your hand. And as we see that you have a question, we'll call on you. And if you would like to, unmute yourself and ask a question at that time, feel free. So I guess to get started, just some general information that we did want to cover beforehand before we get into Q&A that would maybe help answer some general questions that I've seen coming up over the past couple of weeks. The first being regarding registration. Some of you guys have, as you've seen, received your registration confirmation emails, meaning you are 100% fully registered. There are no further steps that you need to take. We have 100% registered you. Some of you I know have seen that email. We are still in the process of finishing out registration. So more students by the end of this week especially are going to see those registration confirmation emails coming your way. For any students who are in the independent study, I would recommend next week, actually I would say almost mandatory to go next week to the session with Jeff Sosland on the 16th, where he's going to talk more about what the independent study process looks like and how there is an extra step for registration after that meeting with him, who is your faculty. He is your faculty member for that course. So I'm happy to answer questions about that here today. So for example, I know some of you have been wondering why you're not fully registered or why you haven't received that email. That's, for an example, one reason why is because we have that final kind of step in that independent study process for those of you who are going to be in that session next week. So that's one note about registration. And again, we're going to be answering you guys' questions if you have anything more specific to bring up today. And then the other thing I did want to note before we get into the Q&A are a lot of questions I've been seeing about billing as of recently. And so I have sent out an email, I think it was maybe 2-3 weeks ago now, and I've been also following up with you guys as you have questions about it still, to please disregard your bills on Eagle Service for now. And so at this time, due to the agreements that, maybe certain homeschools have, or just, how billing arrangements work, students will have their bills adjusted And so because of that, you might see a cost in Eagle Service that does not reflect what the final cost of the program will be. And so because of that, we recommend students to come to us individually with questions about their individual billing situations. However, what I will say again in the meantime is just wait for us to confirm that you are okay to pay your bill. And that is due to the fact that they are being adjusted to where, we will let you know once that is okay. I know you guys have received reminders from AU to pay your bill because for AU students, the bills are due a lot sooner than WashSem students' bills are. So in that case, you might receive an automated, hey, please pay your bill, or you might get a late fee from AU. You are able to disregard that as well. So no worries there. In some cases, actually in most cases, this won't even, you might be paying your bill into September. So again, don't worry about that. You guys are good to go. You're not late with any payments. It is special for WashSem students where this is, this is an area where it's very different from, a full-time AU student. So those are the two things I wanted to lead off with today. And so now, unless, anyone else has anything to add, we can open the floor up to the Q&A session. So again, put questions in the chat, raise your hand, and we will answer those as they come. Okay. So I will.
Leonard looks like he has a question, I think.
Okay, yes. Go ahead.
So I have not yet registered to any of the courses on Canvas. Is that normal, or am I behind on something?
So let me double check here too. So it depends on the student. If you have been fully registered and received that confirmation email, then your courses should be showing up in Canvas. So have you received a confirmation email that you have been fully registered?
I don't think so. And so it's going to be automatic. I don't have to register for something?
Correct. Yep, that is
Great.
right. So in that case, once you receive that confirmation email, you'll be able to start seeing your courses listed in Canvas as well. And that's something we do on our part in terms of registration. So it automatically should populate in Canvas then. So if you guys have any issues with that too, let us know, or you can email Canvas directly at canvas@american.edu. So yeah, as of now, you're good to go. If you have not received that email yet, we'll be handling the registration. So no worries.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
There are a few questions in the chat. Greta wants to know about billing. Can we pay our bill with Turnkey at this time? Is that in any way related to Eagle Service?
That is a very good question. And so I will say that does depend on the student. I would first, if you're from a partner institution, double check in with them how they would like for you to pay for your housing. And so and we can also, again, on an individual basis, discuss that with each student. So I would check with both your partner rep and us before making any sort of housing payment, just to make sure that you are sure you're paying it to the right person. And so it can be different. It can sometimes be an Eagle Service, or it might not be. So please check in with your homeschool and check in with us before making those payments, because it is a case-by-case basis. So good question. Please, feel free to shoot us an email, and we will let you know based on your own case where that will go.
Great. And Naomi has a question. She says, if I need to move classes due to my internship schedule, will I have time to move it around or make changes during the first week of classes? Does a regular add drop schedule still apply to us?
Yes, it absolutely does. So in terms of the AU add drop schedule, that also does apply to Washington semester program students. So whatever you guys see listed on the AU site for add drop, and we sent out, I think, those calendar dates as well, where add drop should be included. Those are the same dates for AU students, and they're the same dates for you. And so, yes, you are able to add and drop courses during the add drop period. And so if you have a conflict with your internship and you need to move a seminar onto a different day, I will always recommend, please double check in with your homeschool first to make sure that, you know, if you aren't maybe sure that that credit of the new course is going to transfer back to your homeschool properly before we make that change here. But once you have that good to go, then we are able to make that change for you during the add drop period if there's any sort of conflict with your schedule. Good.
So the next question is, what's the process for waiving health insurance? That's from Grant. How do we go through the application process of waiving health insurance?
Very good question. And so the health insurance waiver, and I've actually seen, this is kind of a frequently asked question I've seen popping up because it does tie into registration. And so for students who have been registered and you've received that registration confirmation email, I detail out the instructions in that email, how you can waive the health insurance. I know I have let everyone know though, in the meantime, that you cannot waive your health insurance until you have been registered for classes. And so once you receive that registration confirmation email, then the link in the email will take you to the waiver application form. And that is all through AU. So you're able to apply for the waiver through AU. They will choose then to approve, or in certain cases, I know that they have not approved certain health insurances because they have specific standards that you will need to meet in terms of health insurance. But that process happens after you have been fully registered. So again, when you see that confirmation, registration confirmation email in your inbox, that means you're good to go then, and you can officially waive the health insurance. So yeah, that will be the process of that.
Also, just a quick little plug that indeed your AU email will increasingly be the place for you to get the source of information of up-to-date details. Also, do keep checking that Canvas class. I'm going to do a very brief view of that. So let's say you haven't ever logged into Canvas, or maybe you have. Our Canvas link has american.instructure.com. You'll be prompted to log in once you arrive here in the Canvas site. You'll see at this point, you'll have a minimum of 2 classes, the WSP orientation fall 23. Here, the very top 2 things are the links towards the immunization and the health insurance, and more details as well about some of the other pre-arrival stuff. Let's say you think, oh my goodness, my email box is swimming. I don't know where I put that arrival guide or the calendar, etc. And even some of the information that Camila mentioned just now, we do post the email content here. So if you would rather arrive at a site and take a poke through the information that way, do feel free to check this out as another resource.
Thanks, Amy. So we are going through, and I am sorry, I lost my, so Sarita asked, how do we register for the research versus independent study class seminar, or excuse me, Zoom session on the August 16th with Jeff Soslin? I put the link, Sarita, if you scroll up, you should see the link to that registration. And after this meeting, I'll go ahead and send out the link again so that everyone has the links we've talked about today, our email addresses, but pretty much the conversation we're having together right now. I'm going to transcribe it into an email so that everyone has the links that we're talking about. The next question is, regarding the metro services, can the pass that we receive be used at any metro station or bus stop? And that's from Rutendo.
Yes, it can. Yeah. So yeah, any DC metro buses, yeah, you can use the pass there. So I always find that every semester I just hear students rave about it because of how much, how useful the Metro Pass is, the U-Pass as we call it is. So yeah, you are able to use that on all of the Metro buses in the area. There should be no issue.
And just so you know, we staff wish we had a UPass, but we're not eligible. So you guys have a great discounted price for taking public transportation in DC. The next question is from Sydney. Where and when do we collect our school IDs, our UPass or MetroCard, and housing keys?
Great question. And so the school ID, which at AU is known as the One Card. So your One Card and your UPass, which is your Metro card, these will be picked up during orientation. So your One Card can be picked up at the One Card office. Some students choose to pick it up if they arrive early before orientation at the One Card office itself. So as long as you arrive during the hours that they're open, and we can also let you know, closer to the start date of orientation, what those hours are, where you can pick up the One Card ID. But during the campus tour, we do tend to stop by the One Card office for students, where you can also pick up your Metro card, your One Card. And that can, again, if you miss that as well, you can always pick it up on AU's campus at the One Card office. So that's for that. For the UPass, that can also be picked up during orientation. We'll send out more instructions on how you can pick that up there. Housing keys, I would ask your housing provider. So if you're with Turnkey, please ask Turnkey directly, whether that is Eric Hershey that you guys, I think have been communicating back and forth with, or if there's someone else from Turnkey you guys have been communicating with, I would double check with them. If you're not with Turnkey, just check in with whoever your housing provider is. So if you've picked housing independently or you're with AU housing, double check in with them to where you would pick up your keys.
Great. And someone asked if the apartments with Turnkey come fully furnished.
Yes, they do. Yeah. So for any of you with Turnkey, what we like to tell students is that you just need to arrive with a suitcase in hand. Turnkey will have everything else. The apartments are fully furnished. There, is a fully furnished kitchen as well. So I know that's been a question that's popped up, over the past couple of weeks has been, do I get a meal plan, or, what am I going to do for food? If you are with Turnkey, they have, again, those fully furnished kitchens. Students do not typically ever take the meal plan because of that reason. And it is away from campus, so you're not ever really on campus much. You guys are open and welcome to buying food, bringing it there. And so, yeah, they do come fully furnished. Yep. No need to worry there.
Audrey Stevens asked, when do we get our class schedules?
So like I said, at this time, you guys are still being registered. And so, like I said, some students have had their registration finalized and processed, and that is complete. And, over these past couple of weeks and in these, next couple of weeks, you'll receive that registration confirmation email as you are your registration is finalized. At this point, I would expect in the next week or so, I would hope to have all of you receive your registration confirmation emails. At the latest, I would think 2 weeks, but I would hope that by the end of this week, most of you, if not all of you, will have received that email. And again, if not, then we will continue to work with you on your schedule. I know some of you I'm still working with to figure out electives and things, so that email won't come until we've figured those things out.
And just to reassure you, so I know that with registration in your undergraduate or schools, it happens very quickly. Here, it's actually it can take all the way up to right before orientation for some select students. The majority of students have actually already been registered, but just so you know, in terms of expectations, there's no need to be anxious about it or anything. Even though it's getting close to orientation time, you'll get into your classes and get registered. I would definitely move if you're trying to get into a particular elective or anything like that. But if that's not you, you're going to get your confirmation message with your registration and a link to your schedule shortly. So again, feel free to reach out to any of us. And the best email again is washsem@american.edu.
Thank you, Shadi.
The next question is from Sarita, and she wants to know how much health insurance costs. If we waive the health insurance, how much comes off of our balance? And is it the same for everyone?
Yes. So so the health insurance is around, it's 900 excuse me, I'm sorry. Is $913, I believe. So it's approximately around $900 for the health insurance, if that charge gets posted to your account. So if you waive the health insurance, depending on, you know, how much you guys are paying for health insurance, that's how much A uses, and that would be the cost that will be, again, posted to your account if you do not waive the health insurance. So approximately $900.
And just a quick note, international students are required to take the AU health insurance. So if you're an international student, you have to stay in the AU health insurance. You can't waive it.
And another follow-up note on that, even to many internationals who come to the US, used to socialized medicine in their countries, they often have an understanding or an impression that that socialized medicine coverage will carry forward for them to be in Washington, D.C. Unfortunately, in my 30 years of experience of work at AU, I've never heard of any government insurance socialized medicine working for AU's approval. AU has a very high standard of care and requirement for your well-being. And so this health insurance is, as Shadi mentioned, virtually is required for the internationals, especially in COVID, when we face such a health emergency. We realized at AU the benefits of having very thorough coverage. And so when you are enrolled in the AU health insurance, you will have access to, for example, with a nominal copay, access to obviously the health center, as well as the nearby hospitals, and very solid health care. So more information on that is within the AU Health Center. You can find that by looking online. So again, know that often we've gone back and forth with the health center to answer questions like this. That office is the deciding office. Ours is the academic unit that teaches you in this exciting program. So should you have the follow-up questions about your particular kind of health insurance, that office would be the one to see. But again, from our standard experience, health insurance is typically mandatory from AU for the international students.
Looks like Leonard has a question.
Yes, regarding the health insurance, is it, let's say, for example, like there's an accident and someone ends up at the hospital, is it going to be completely covered? Like the costs, are they going to be completely covered, or is there going to be a significant amount that will still have to be paid by yourself?
That is a health insurance office question. That's a great one to have. AU's health insurance, I hear high satisfaction, but at the same time, I am unfortunately not a well-seasoned expert on the topic of health insurance. But again, I've heard the general feedback that I'm reporting to you from other students and their experience. It is, of course, it's different than in your home countries, but I have heard satisfaction. And I would even check out their, I'll put a link in the chat so you can get a little more information on the health insurance that AU provides for students when you buy it, when you don't waive it. So you could be the best judge of that as you get a feel for what it's like. But I have commonly heard of students within the larger university who need to use it for a broken arm or pneumonia or whatever the case may be, and these the general needs are met when it comes to healthcare. Great question.
Great. Sorry, I just have to scroll back up real quick. Naomi is asking, who should I reach out to if I'm not enrolled in any of the courses just mentioned? So I think there's a little bit of a confusion between the onboarding courses. It's actually almost like admitted student portal. The Canvas courses that Amy just reviewed are courses that are actually not the courses you're registering for, your seminars, your internship course, or your AU elective. They're courses to guide you with onboarding and landing your internship and those kinds of details, forms to fill out. If you haven't been sent an invite to join those kind of onboarding courses, they're called courses, but they're not really courses. It's kind of a guide. Maybe Amanda can check and make sure that Naomi, you've been sent the invite. But otherwise, does that make sense to everyone that the Canvas courses that Amy just went through are not actually the courses you're taking with the Washington semester program for credit or non-credit? Those are kind of like a guide to you. Okay. Sarita has a question. If we were not able to get housing in turnkey, where are the best options to get housing as a WSP student? Are there any good recommendations to find housing in the most efficient manner?
Personally, if I were you, I would choose AU housing. I think AU housing is so convenient. I think there are really good sides to every housing option that we offer at AU. All the turnkey apartments are located downtown. And I think many of the students on this call are starting to receive additional details about who their roommates will be, etc. And I've been delighted to see the GroupMe has some lovely activity and communication about housing. It could be, actually, I think also in your shoes, I would probably do a little quick little question in GroupMe. If you haven't found the GroupMe, look in our emails. And again, we also have the link in the Canvas class. And if you put me on the spot, I can probably figure out a way to share that link now. So I would recommend that you poll the group. And then I think one of the challenges for short-term rentals in the DC area is it's hard to get a short-term lease. Let's say you're not instantly excited about living on campus. Well, I get it, but if you think of all the pros and the cons of accommodations in Washington, you need roughly a 4-month stay. And you need a good location with safety, good access to resources within the city. The AU housing has all of that, but I would also check out the AU off-campus housing website, and I'll put that link in the chat, as that does offer some really great advice as well. And if you have particular questions, we're happy to chat with you. But the two resources I recommend, AU housing, and then there is still room in AU housing. And then again, off-campus housing at American University, that website offers great choices.
Thank you, Amy. So Carol has a question regarding work authorization for international students. How long does it take for ISSS to issue the work permit from the time I submit my ELF form? And the ELF form is basically confirmation of your internship placement. So Camila,
Camila, you want to take a first crack?
Yeah, sure. And so it typically can take about a week or so. So after you have submitted your ELF, we begin the process of approval. And then once that has been approved, you will, as an international student, receive your amended DS 2019. And so from the time you submit your ELF until you get that DS 2019 in hand, amended DS 2019, I should say, I would say approximately a week.
Great. And then Sabrina has a question about one of the electives I want to register for requires special approval. I've reached out to the professor, but haven't heard back yet. How would you suggest moving forward?
Yeah, so great question. And so for that, I would recommend reaching out to me, but also reaching out to washsem@american.edu. So please make sure you're either, if you email me, to copy that email, or if not, just send it directly to WashSem. to let us know what the course is and which course you need approval for. So I know for a lot of AU electives, you might need to get a prerequisite waived. And so please let me know, if you are looking at taking that specific course, what that course is, the course number and the course title, and then we can go from there. And we'll reach out on your behalf to get those prerequisites waived.
Thank you. So the next question is from Anamad. Is it best to direct questions about turnkey directly to them? For example, I have questions about payment.
Yes, with payment, I would recommend to first reach out to us regarding any sort of payment to make sure that, you know exactly where to make that housing payment. But any other questions regarding turnkey, feel free to reach out to Turnkey directly. So Turnkey is going to be, your first and primary contact for any and all things turnkey, otherwise. And so for any sort of payment and billing questions, come to us first. But anything else, go to Turnkey.
And that's including like move in, move out dates, lease dates, keys, anything like that, correct?
Yes. Yep.
And then the next question is from Sarita. I'm also wondering how to get special approval for a class. It says that no requisite is required, but I'm not sure how to get approved to register. So that's again.
Yeah, same thing. Just let us know the course title and course number. We'll double check in on that for you. And if it does require approval, we can, help you get that if you meet whatever requirements, are required here. And then we will move forward with that. Yeah. So just let us know the course number and course title.
Thank you. Rutendo is asking, Rutendo, I'm going to ask you a question. What homeschool are you from?
She's from Allegheny. I don't know if Rutendo's still here.
He's from Allegheny. So yeah, there he is, Allegheny College. So you're a domestic international. So he's asking, do we have to use the AU health insurance if we are already international students in the United States?
It depends. Once again, it'll just depend on what AU approves. However, I do know that domestic internationals are able to waive the health insurance more so than non-domestic internationals because of the health insurance typically required at your institution here in the US. And so in that case, still, if you would like to waive, just fill out the waiver. And again, based on the insurance that you currently have, AU will approve that, or if not, then you will have to take the AU health insurance.
Nicholas is asking if there's an option besides the Canvas classes that are really a guide for onboarding to connect with other students.
Yeah, so I would recommend the GroupMe. I know a lot of you guys have been in there already talking about, roommate assignments and any sort of questions that you guys have had along the way. And I would just encourage you guys to start connecting there. And then we're going to have a lot of opportunities for you guys to connect at orientation and get to know each other more. And yeah, that's what I would recommend. But if anyone else has any others, feel free to jump in.
I think that, Nicholas, have you gotten any messages to join the GroupMe? Do you have access? Maybe he's stepped away. Naomi is also saying, I don't have access to the onboarding messages. Okay, so we will check for Nicholas and Naomi to make sure you're both a part of the GroupMe. And we've been sending a lot of messages through there and students kind of talking back and forth with each other throughout really every day. And then Naomi as well, okay. And then, and Leonard as well, okay. And that looks like it's it. Did I miss anyone?
I don't think so. I was looking as well, and I think that was it too. Yeah. Thank you.
And okay, great.
Good. So if you guys have any more questions, again, feel free to drop them in the chat. If not, thank you guys so much for being here today. We look forward to seeing everyone at orientation. If you guys have any questions that come up in the meantime, just let us know again via email, or book a meeting at, one of the You Can Book Me links. So yeah, just we're here to help along, at every step of the way. And so just let us know if anything comes up. So thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to stick for one more minute here if you have other miscellaneous questions. Otherwise, I'm so excited to see this enthusiasm. We've never had such a big cohort for drop-in hours. So this bodes well for an excellent semester. Thank you guys so much for coming today. Thank you also, WashSem colleagues, for being so thorough and helpful and organized in this overview.